Do you want to play Gameboy Color games on your Android device? Then this video is for you. Today we're going to be setting up Retroarch. Let's jump right into this. So the first thing you want to do in today's video is open up our Play Store. And once our Play Store opens up, we're going to be coming to the search button here and we're going to be searching for ZArchiver. This app we're going to be using a bit later to extract and talk about games. This is a good app to have on your Android device regardless. So this is the first thing we're going to need. The second thing we're going to be searching for is our actual emulator, which in this case is Retroarch. And here there are two places to get Retroarch. One is on the Play Store and the other is downloading the APK directly from the Retroarch websites. Now, if you're not planning to keep your games on an SD card, you can just take Retroarch directly from the Play Store. However, if you're planning to store games or files on an SD card, you should use the one from the website, which is what I'm going to be doing in today's video, as some of my files are on an SD card, and Retroarch from the Play Store is not able to access an SD card directly inside it. The process otherwise for the rest of the video should be mostly the same regardless of the version you have, but for me I'm going to be downloading Retroarch from our web browser. So what I'm going to be doing is opening up any web browser you want. I'm going to be using Chrome, and I'm going to be coming to this link. Links is always in the description down below, and this is going to be for the Retroarch website. Once we're here, we're going to be clicking the download button here in the middle. We're then going to be clicking the download button here underneath Android. Simply click this. We're then going to have to wait for our file to download. If you want to install it directly from your file manager, you can do that here. I'm going to be clicking here on the APK file. It's then going to ask if you want to install the app. I'm going to be clicking install. This might mention that it's unsafe. As long as you download it from the official Retroarch website, it should not be any problem. We're going to be clicking the install anyway button here. You're then going to have to enter the pin on your device. And here it will then mention the app is installed. We're then going to be clicking open. We're then going to have to allow it to have read and write access. We're going to be clicking OK here. Click allow. And now this is going to load up. From default, Retroarch looks like this and it's not the nicest UI. So the first thing we're going to be doing is changing here by coming to the cogwheel options here on the bottom right. We're going to be coming to user interface. We're then going to be scrolling all the way down to the bottom of user interface and we're going to be changing our menu option here. And here by default it is on GLUI. This is the worst version of Retroarch that they have. I personally like the Ozone option. However, if you're looking for a more PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 type feeling, XMB is also a good option here. Once this is saved, we're going to have to click back here on the bottom right. We're then going to be going back to our home screen. We're going to be quitting Retroarch here. We're then going to be opening up Retroarch again, and we should see that our new UI is now saved. Now we have this UI where everything is a bit cleaner, and we have all of our menu options here on the left. This is my preferred UI in Retroarch, but here you can select whatever you want. So now we're ready to talk about our Gameboy Color games, and now I'm going to be opening up ZArchiver. And I will mention in today's video, I cannot be showing you where to find your games. You will need to source and download your own games. However, a quick Google search can help you out here. Now when you download your games, depending on where they're packaged, they can come in a couple different formats. However, by default, we're looking for a .gbc game file, which is what I have here. However, if you download a collection of games or a big folder of games, we'll first need to extract them out. These can come in a zip file or a 7-zip file. If you do not have a GBC file, what we'll first need to do is extract it. So I have a 7-zip file here as an example. I'm going to be tapping it. I'm going to be clicking extract. I'm going to be selecting this folder by clicking the button on the bottom right. I'm then going to be replacing the file that it's already extracted from. And just like that, I was able to extract my game out from a 7-zip into a GBC format file. Now, if your games come in a .zip file, they will read just fine in Retroarch. However, just to keep things as consistent and easy as possible, I like to have my games in a GBC format. For this point, there are a couple things we need to do and a couple settings we can look at. Retroarch is built mostly for a controller, so the setup is really built around a controller. Everything will work on your touchscreens here, and if you want to go back or anything else, you can click these buttons down here in the bottom right. That will allow you to access everything. However, me personally, I'm going to be navigating the rest of this video using a controller in Retroarch. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is connecting up a controller for this application. So what I'm going to be doing is grabbing my Xbox Series controller to connecting it to Retroarch. To do this, I'm going to be connecting it wirelessly over Bluetooth to my device. It's now already connected, and by default, most controllers will actually work. You can see here I have not actually mapped anything manually, but everything does work here. If you would like to connect the controller up, what we need to do is click settings here on the middle. We're going to be coming to input. We're then going to be coming here to RetroPad binds. We're then going to be coming to port 1 controls. And here what we can do is select and map all of our buttons. We're going to be making sure our device type is set to the correct controller, which is currently set to the Xbox Series controller for me. Then what you can do is go down here and look at each button. You can then tap a button, for example, the up button on your D-pad. You can press it and then press it on your controller, and then it will be mapped to that button. You can go here and then manually map each of these buttons to set it up exactly how you want. Now, if you do make any changes to your controller, you do need to make sure you come and click Save Controller Profile, otherwise they will not be saved here. And this will just make sure that your controller profile is set. Now, for some of these hotkeys, it is possible to set multiple buttons here. So you can see I currently have button 130 and F1. These are related to a button on my controller and the F1 key if you have a keyboard connected. Now, the hotkeys are really cool options. One thing I do like to enable is the menu toggle. And specifically, I like to set the menu toggle with a controller combo. If we click this, we will be able to select a combination of buttons that will open up the Retroarch on-screen menu. So for me, I like to use the start and select options here. So when you're in game and you click start and select, it will open up the menu. So you have the Retroarch menu access really easily. Now that Retroarch is all set up, we're going to be clicking on the load core option. Here, if you haven't set up Retroarch previously, there'll be no other cores available. I do have one other. However, now we're going to be downloading a new core specifically for Gameboy Color. We're going to be clicking on the search button and we're going to be searching for Gambatte. And here when we search Gambatte, we will see this Nintendo Game Boy /Color Gambatte. We're going to be tapping this and we're going to be letting this download. This will work for both Game Boy and Game Boy Color games. Specifically, today's video, I'm going to be looking at Game Boy Color games. However, both of them will work just fine here. We're then going to be clicking back out. And now when we click on the load core option, we should also see Gambatte as an option here. We're going to be backing out again. And now we're going to be setting up a game playlist for our games. To do this, we're going to be clicking on import content here. We're going to be clicking on scan directory. And once this opens up, we're going to have to locate to where our games are downloaded. Now, if you do have your games on an SD card, it will show up here as storage / and some string of characters. Depending on what your SD card is, it might be called something else here. All of these other file folders here in Retroarch are the internal storage on our Android device. We're going to be clicking on our SD card, and now we're going to have to locate to where our games are. Once you've found the folder where all of your games are, don't worry if they don't show up here immediately. We're instead going to be clicking scan this directory right here. And this can take a couple seconds depending on how many games you have and depending on your Android device. So once everything is loaded in, we're going to be clicking back here to get all the way back out to the main menu. And now on the left side, we should see additional playlists created, specifically here for my Game Boy Color. And inside here, I can see all of my Game Boy Color games. Now from this point, you can directly load up a game, but we're going to be going through a couple of additional settings first. We're going to be coming to the settings option here. We're going to be coming to video. And here we can look at a couple things. So underneath output, we will have our video driver that we want to use. Here we can use OpenGL or Vulkan. If you do have a graphics card powerful enough that can handle Vulkan, I would recommend it. It can give better performance. So that's what I'm going to be setting in today's video. If it does give you any issues, this would be one of the first things I'd recommend changing. Underneath video rotation, I'm going to be leaving it normal. But if you would like to flip your image around, you can set that up here. Screen orientation, I'm going to be leaving the same, but you can set that up here as well. For the vertical refresh rate here, you can experiment a bit. Depending on the core and depending on the console you're using, setting this higher can cause your game to speed up and cause additional issues. So I'd recommend leaving it at 60 by default. Although you will see your estimated screen refresh rate here below. My screen can go up to 120 Hz, but I'd recommend starting with the default of 60. Here you can scale this up or down as you want. If you click enter here, you can enter a refresh rate that you want. One additional option at the bottom of your video options here is the enable full screen over notch. So if you do have a device that has a notch or a cutout, you can enable this if you wanted to fill that area. I don't have it on my tablet, so I'm not going to be enabling it today. Underneath scaling, I would recommend changing the integer scale to on. This will allow you to only scale games in logical steps. To avoid certain blurring and certain things happening, it's a good option to have enabled here. Aspect ratio, I'm going to be leaving as core provided. This will avoid your games stretching in your screen. If you would like your games to stretch to 16:9 or force an aspect ratio, you can set that here. However, I don't really like when games do that, so I'm going to be leaving it as core provided. This means that MGBA itself will control the aspect ratio of our games, which is my preferred method. And these are good options to have. I also wanted to ask if you've gotten this far in today's video, if you can hit that subscribe button. We're trying to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so it would really help me out. Let's jump back to the video. From this point, I'm going to be loading up a Game Boy Color game. I'm going to be loading up this 007 game here. Tap on it. It will then give information here on the right side about when it was last played, how long it was played for, and all this other information. Tap again, click run. We will then have to select a core to play this game. So again, we're going to be using Gambatte that we selected earlier. Finally, click run again, and now our game should launch. Now within Retroarch, we should see by default this on-screen menu, which is really nice. So you can tap it, or as mentioned earlier, if you have your controller set up, we can also do that. We also have a couple of other things here. We have our fast forward button here in the middle. So when you tap this, you can fast forward and speed up your games. This is really useful for turn-based games like Pokemon, so you can speed up that process. We have the option to this arrow here, which can hide our on-screen menus. And we can tap this A/B button here to affect our on-screen control size. If you would like to access the Retroarch settings, we can click on this Retroarch icon here, or we can click start and select on our controller that we set up a bit earlier. The first thing I want to bring your attention to here is the rewind option. This will basically allow you to rewind your games into the past, which I think is a really cool feature. If you'd like to enable that, you can do that here. You will need to set up a hotkey or something to be able to activate this, as it will not add an on-screen control for it. But it is a nice option to have here. Can have a slight performance hit. However, with Game Boy Color games, I do not imagine that being an issue for most people. We're then going to be coming to our core options here. And here we will have a couple of additional options inside Gambatte. For Game Boy games specifically, if you'd like to change the internal palette, this is where they would estimate how certain Game Boy Color games would look in a certain color palette. You could set that here. These are mostly all of the original color palettes. with a few additional ones here as well. These are worth experimenting with. I'm not going to be deep diving in today's video, but it is nice to have. The rest of these options I'm going to be leaving alone, but if you would like to come down here and take a look at it, you can do that here as well. We're then be clicking back out. The last two things we're going to be looking at is the on-screen overlay. Just if you would like to fully turn it off, if you do not want any on-screen overlay, you can turn that off here. And if you would like to look at some of the other on-screen overlays inside Retroarch, you can do that as well. For me, I'm planning to use a controller anyway, so I'm not going to be diving into this, but there are quite a few options built into Retroarch if you would like to see it. You can turn up and down the opacity. Turning this higher will make your buttons more visible, lower will make your buttons less visible. So if you would like to use some sort of a combined layout, that is an option here. And you can even adjust how the buttons show when they're touched on the overlay. So here you have a couple of nice options to take a look at as well. The last thing I wanted to mention was the shaders. And here you do have quite some options. The first thing you'll need to do is update your shaders, which we will need to go back to the main menu to do. But we will first need to update those. To this, we come to the main menu here. We're going to be looking for the online updater option. We're going to be scrolling all the way down to the bottom. We're going to be updating our shaders and everything else here. If you want to update, you can do that as well. Then you can enable video shaders here. Once we enable them on, we'll then be able to load a shader preset. And here there is a lot of options. Some of the most popular ones are CRT type ones, but you also have game borders and a couple of other things. These are worth experimenting with. I'm not going to be diving into today's video. I also don't think it's really needed for Game Boy Color games. However, once you start getting to PlayStation 1 and 64, CRT shaders start to look really cool and are a really nice option. Anyway guys, it's as easy as that to play Game Boy Color games on your Android device. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like. Subscribe if you're new, check out the other videos on the channel. Until next time guys, as always, keep it saucy. Peace.